All right, so today we are going to be looking at Chapter 1.4, Multiplying Integers. And let's start off by looking at a few key ideas. So the first key idea here is that when you're multiplying integers with the same sign, whether they're both positive or they're both negative, you're going to get a positive answer if they are both the same sign. So for example, if we have both are positive, like 2 times 3, we get a positive answer, 6. If they are both negative, like negative 2 times negative 3, you still get a positive answer like 6. Now, what happens if you multiply integers with different signs? So if they're different signs, your answer will always be negative. For example, if I have a positive times a negative, I get a negative answer. If I have a negative times a positive, like here, I also get a negative. Something else I wanted to show you at this point is that you can count the number of negative signs to find out if the answer is positive or negative. So if I have an even amount of negative signs, or of negatives, let's say negative signs, I get a positive answer. If I have an odd amount of negative signs, my answer is always going to be negative. So what you can do is you can just multiply. This is especially helpful if you have 2, 3, if you have 3, 4, 5, 6, a lot of numbers in a row that are being multiplied. That way you can just multiply and then count up the signs. That's when we would use this. Okay. So let's look at our first example. We have negative 5 times negative 6. So what I do first is I do 5 times 6, which is 30. And then I count how many signs I have. I have 1, 2 negative signs. Since that is even, my answer is positive. Okay? So I end up with positive 30. In this example, A, I have 3 times 4, which is 12. And since I only have one negative sign, that means it's going to be a negative answer because it's an odd amount. Over here, I have 7 times 4, which is 28. And since one of them is negative, the 7, that's it. That's an odd amount of negative signs, therefore the answer is negative here as well. Or you can just look at them and say, well, since they have different signs and just the two of them, it's going to be negative for both of them. At this time, I want you guys to go ahead and try 1 through 8 and see how you do. Once you get done with that, unpause the video and you can see how you did with my answers. Okay? Good luck.
When the sun goes down on my side of town, that lonesome feeling comes to my door, the whole world turns.
All right. Let's take a look here. So we have 5 times 5, both positive. We end up having a positive answer, 25. For number 2, 4 times 11, both positive, so we get 44. A negative times a negative is a positive, so 1 times 9 is 9, it's positive. A negative times a negative is, again, positive, so 7 times 8 is 56, positive. For our next set, we have a positive times a negative, so it's going to be negative. So 12 times 2 is 24. A positive times a negative is negative. So we have 4 times 6, which is 24, so negative 24. And then, for our next one, we have a negative times a negative, which is positive, times 0. Oh, if you have anything, if you have all multiplication and there's a 0 thrown in there at any point, the answer is always 0. Don't let that fool you. Over here we have a negative times a negative times a negative. So we have 3 negative signs. Since there are 3, that's an odd amount. We know our answer is going to be negative. So I have 7 times, well, let's do it this way. Since they're all multiplication, it's commutative. So I'm going to do the 4 times 5 first to get 20 times the 7, and that will get me 140. So I have negative 140. Okay. Hopefully you came up with the same answers. You did all right. Let's go ahead and move on to our next example. Okay, well, in this example, we're going to start using exponents. So we have, for A, we have negative 2 to the second power. So negative 2 squared would just be negative 2 times negative 2. And then that, we follow the rules, it becomes positive 4. Let's try our next one. Now, this one says negative 5 squared. So basically, this is saying negative 5 times 5 is what we're doing here. So I'm going to do 5 times 5 is 25. So the answer is negative 25. So basically, remember, the negative sign tells you whatever you have as your answer, negative makes it opposite. So if your answer is 25 and it's negative, negative 25. All right, for part C, we have negative 4 to the third power. So basically, it's negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. So I know the answer is going to be negative because there's 3 negative signs. So let's just do 4 times 4 times 4. So negative 4 times 4, well, we just do it this way. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16 times negative 4. And then I'm going to get negative, and then 4 times 16 is 64. So we got negative 64. All right. So at this time, I'm going to have you guys try these 4 problems. Pause the video and start it back up when you're finished. See how you did. All right. Bye-bye.
Out in the country, past the city limit sign, where there's a honky-tonk near the county line. The joint starts jumping every night when the sun goes down.
All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. See how you did. We have negative 3 at the second power, so negative 3 times negative 3, and we get 9. And yes, I do want you to show your work, okay? Don't just put the answer. I want you to show your work on these, like I did. It takes literally 2 seconds, if that. But I want you to show your work. It's good habit to show your work on this stuff. So here we have negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. So negative 2 times negative 2 is 4 times negative 2. And we get negative 8. And then for here, we have negative 7 times 7. So we have 49. And it's going to be negative 49. And then for our last one, we have negative, and it's 6 times 6 times 6. So our answer is going to be negative, and we have 6 times 6, which is 36, times 6. Then we get 6, carry the 3. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. So we have negative 216. All right. Hopefully you came up with the same type of answers. Let's go ahead and move on to our final example. So in this example, it says the bar graph shows the number of taxis in a company has, or number of taxis a company has in service. The number of taxis decreases by the same amount each year for 4 years. Find the total change in the number of taxis. So you can see right here, it tells you they go down 50. If they're going down 50, that's negative 50, right? Going down is negative. So what we're going to do is we're going to do negative 50 times those 4 years. And 50 times 4 is 200, which is negative. So the total change in the number of taxis is negative 200. Remember, word problems, write your answer in a complete sentence. All right, so I want you to try this last problem. Pause this give it a try, and then when you're ready, resume and see how you did.
There's a place where the boat is from. It takes away all of your big problems. You could worries, you could drop them in the blue ocean.
All right, so a manatee population decreases by 15 manatees each year for 3 years. Notice it decreases. So it's negative 15 each year for 3 years. Find the total change in the manatee population. So we have 3 times negative 15, which gets us negative 45. So the manatee population decreases by 45 over the next 3 years. Or if you wanted to, you could have said the change in the manatee population is negative 45 over the next 3 years. Either way is fine with me. Okay? Thank you very much, and you have a great day.
I ride east every other Friday. But if I had it my way, a day would not be wasted on this drive. And I want so bad to hold you. Some of the things I haven't told you. Your mom and me couldn't get along. So I drive and I think about my life and one